Hello. G'day, Owen here with my Brain Crusher. This is a vehicle I've decided to build for Warg Grunt Blaster, the vintage Rogue Trader Orcs that I picked up. The army itself was a little small by modern standards. I tried working it out as an 8th edition force, a little bit too small. Decided to build a nice big centerpiece vehicle to bulk out the points a little more. I'm actually debating building another vehicle, but I'm not entirely sure what it'll count as yet. More on that later. So this is the Brain Crusher. This is based on an old Orc vehicle that appeared in the early versions of Epic, Titan Legions and Space Marine. Then eventually it just got called Epic, and then it became Epic 40,000 and Epic Armageddon, and I don't know what it's called at the moment because I haven't been paying enough attention. But back in the day, there weren't that many huge vehicles in 40k. They were all in Epic, the much smaller scale version where you could do huge vehicles nice and easily and cheaply. And people occasionally decided to build 40k scale versions, and I'm just following along in that grand tradition. I wanted to build this to look like it fitted in with Rogue Trader, so I've taken one of the old designs. The particular reason I chose this one is it's got this crazy tiled shingled roof, which I always think looks very, very nice and old-fashioned. It fits the old Orc aesthetic. So this one's going to be counted as a battle wagon with the super cannon or whatever it's called. It's also got 2 big shooters, and it's got 2 rocket launchers, although not all that's going to be evident right at the moment. We've got shooter turrets here. Rocket launchers we'll see in a second when I start spinning it around. And on the other side I've actually got, still not quite completed this. This is obviously the war track that's been seen before. I haven't actually painted anything on it for a while, so it's still partially completed. But you can see the size of the Orc vehicle here. Okay, you can see that before because I had an Orc standing next to it, but now there's an Orc vehicle standing next to it. Yay! Well, the size of this was basically dictated by those caterpillar tracks. They came off a toy that I had. Tore them up, stuck them on. My original plan was slightly smaller than this, but when I found out I had these tracks and they were that size, I had to modify things a little bit to fit in. Okay, back here we can see 2 vertical launched rockets. I thought that was a cool little touch. I also particularly like one of the other big Orc vehicles. I think it's the Giblet Grinder. Has a big sort of boiler thing back here and engines and stuff, and I wanted to sort of have something in behind the tower. I didn't want to go full engine because I still wanted this to look like it was a Brain Crusher, so vertical launch missile launcher, why not? So mostly made out of plasticard. The tracks from a toy. This hatch is made from a Tiddlywink and a 25mm round base, and there's a shield on the front there because I wanted to do some sort of glyph, and PVC pipe for the big cannon at the front. The wheels are wooden cores covered in plasticard. Otherwise everything basically plasticard. The roof I've cut nicks and grooves in to the plasticard to give it a nice bit of texture. Other than that, it hasn't had very much damage and chipping done to it because I always think the old school Orc aesthetic tends to look a lot less damaged, so I was going for that look there. Try and fit them in with the Rogue Trader era stuff. I started working on this on Friday about 7. It's now Tuesday at about 8, and this is about to go out and be painted. Public holiday tomorrow, so I'm going to try and get quite a bit of painting done on this, and we'll see how we go. Bam! And here we are. It's Saturday. It's about 20 to 2. Things took longer than I thought. Didn't get as much done on Anzac Day as I was hoping. I did get a fair amount done. Most of this actually was Anzac Day, and I also did pour some moulds and make some casts and things like that for various other projects, but I think I needed 3 coats of red to get the red looking right, and that took a while, and I got dispirited. So then it took a little longer. Thursday night is my games night, so I couldn't paint then. Didn't really get a chance to do anything on this until yesterday, and then finished it up this morning. amongst cleaning the house and all sorts of responsible grown-up adult things to do. But here's the irresponsible young unadult thing to do. This is, of course, the Brain Crusher in its fully painted state. The red and blue colour scheme of Wire Grunt Blaster. There's some freehanding there on a little shield. And otherwise I've painted the check marks, I've painted the various, I think they're called dags, those triangular things. I've painted those, I've painted the glyphs on the sides. And I'm quite happy with this. Might do a little bit more freehanding on it at some point. I was thinking maybe some freehand work on there, those bits under the turrets which are a little bit too plain. And also thinking maybe freehanding some designs onto the rockets, probably add a bit more charring to the exhaust pipes. Might even add some smoke coming out of the exhaust pipes actually. But otherwise, this is it. This is what's going into Wire Grunt Blaster. This will be a nice big centerpiece for the vintage orcs. Let's see how it looks in amongst them, shall we? Bamf! And there it is, towering over them all and looking big and imposing and slightly too large, to be honest. Since I started this project, I actually found some scans online of old White Dwarf magazines, which included an article on how to scratch build various orc vehicles back in the Rogue Trader era. One of them actually was the Bone Crusher, so I've seen the plans of how big it should be, and it should not be this big. Of course, I'm using it as a battle wagon. It's still bigger than a battle wagon, admittedly, but not quite as much bigger as it is the original design. However, from those scans, I've decided I'm also going to have a shot at building a Gobsmasher, which is a sort of wheeled mobile artillery piece kind of thing. Very orky looking design. And I'm going to use the original plans and the original dimensions, give that a shot, see how it looks. I'm not sure what it'll count as at the moment. It's basically 4 wheels and a battle cannon. Yeah, got no idea what they'll count as in AZ, but yeah, we'll give it a shot, see what happens. It'll look cool anyway, it'll go with this army. So that's Wire Grunt Blaster as it stands now. Hopefully get some more stuff done on that pretty soon. Mightily increase its size and destroy any beakies we come across. See ya.